Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another round of Basis Picks. As always, please like and subscribe if you have a friend, a colleague, relative, associate, enemy, any and all in between. It's appreciated. Now, apologies, this was supposed to come out yesterday, but you guys know as of late my timetable is just all over the place. Things aren't quite necessarily going according to plan at all times, but we're here, we're getting it done. Now, technically, the fights from tonight, Deontay Wilder and Terrell Herndon and Christian Mbile and Maciej Sulecki haven't actually started yet. So I'm going to give the predictions on those fights very quickly in this segment, and then we will talk about the fights taking place tomorrow, or today technically when you're watching this. Mbile against Sulecki. Now I know Sulecki was knocked out, I believe it was his last fight against Diego Pacheco. However, in my predictions league, I went for Mbile to win a unanimous decision. He's a good volume puncher, you know, heavy hands, but not necessarily like big thudding concussive punches the same way that Diego Pacheco is. And for that reason, I think that Sulecki might just be able to fiddle his way through this fight and see the final bell. So I've gone this unanimous decision that way. In terms of Deontay Wilder and Terrell Herndon, I've gone for Wilder first round KO. Anything other than that, maximum grace I'm giving him into second round. I don't want to hear anything about, oh, I needed rounds or I was trying working some stuff out in the ring. Like, no, to me this is a first round job. Anything other than that or the second round is just further proof that you are not what people believe or believed you to be, and it's time to hang them up. It's my opinion. But yeah, with that being said, Saturday, let's get to the picks. Okay, so first fight to talk about is Brad Ray versus Shakan Pitters for the EBU European title at light heavyweight. Shakan Pitters was supposed to fight for this title twice against what's his name, Daniel Blender dos Santos. 2 times dos Santos pulled out. Then when he was supposed to fight, I believe it was Brad Ray, the last time, he had to pull out with injury. So he's had a very hard time trying to secure this fight and get it locked down. He of the two is, I guess, more of the boxer, more of the outside boxer. Him being 6'6", it still baffles how he makes 175 pounds, but he does. I do think him making that weight takes a lot of, not so much his energy, but his power. I don't think he's got he doesn't have a huge punch. He can be beat to the jab, and he can be ultimately outdogged in the ring. And I feel that because of the height, at times when he's gets into those confrontations, like his structure and his equilibrium isn't quite where it needs to be, hence why he's usually got a very wide stance, but that can lead to him getting bowled over from time to time. With that being said, Brad Ray is a good all-round fighter. Like he's sort of just a solid fighter all around, nothing special, but comes forward usually in pretty straight lines, usually has a high guard up. Not in terms of like a pressure fighter, but you know, just sort of that textbook guard, you know, sort of textbook movement. There's nothing that I really see that's like original or anything that, I don't really see that often. Everything he does is pretty much by the numbers, which is industrial, workmanlike, and usually will get you the results. However, for some reason, I've just got a feeling that after all of those pushbacks, after all of those setbacks, we're going to be looking at Shakan Pitters winning this title on points. So I've got him on points. I think I've gone for a unanimous or majority decision. I guess we will find out on the night. Okay, so moving on to the MVP Cross Golden Boy card. Now, there are several bouts on this card that I'm interested in. I won't be doing a watch along for it, unfortunately. However, the only bouts I'm really going to speak about, look, Holly Holmes, I'm happy to see her back, but I'm not sure that test is gonna go well for her. There was also actually, you know what? Let me skip those. I am looking forward to Raul, what's his name? Raul Curiel, as I think him versus Rodriguez will be I think that's going to be a bit of a war, right? I do think Curiel is going to win. I'm not going to go into big predictions. They both fight very, very similar, very aggressive. It's going to be sort of a straight come forward, an attritional fight. I think it will go the distance. I think Rodriguez is quite tough from little bits and pieces I've seen, but I think Curiel will just have enough on there. And the fact that this is MVP cross Golden Boy, Curiel being the Golden Boy fighter, I do think he will win. Main fight I want to talk about is Floyd Schofield versus Tevin Farmer. Now, a lot of you know my opinion on Floyd Schofield currently. Himself, I actually don't have too much of a problem with. His dad doesn't necessarily help him out, but he has a reputation at the moment as being a bit of a ducker. You know, he did pull out of the Ashton H2O Sil fight, where he ended up being replaced by Lucas Bardi, and we all saw how that ended for Silv. He obviously pulled out of the Shakur Stevenson fight, citing injury. I mean, not injury, illness, sorry. Whether that's the case or not, I mean, still up in the air, still very dodgy. But he pulled out of that fight and then outpriced himself on an Abdullah Mason fight. So it's kind of one of those, yeah, your reputation is kind of in a bad way at this point. So him getting the victory against Tevin Farmer, to me, isn't actually enough. I feel like he's got to go in there and make a statement to kind of put all of the other negative comments and thoughts to rest. Now, they'll never fully go, but people will forget quite quickly if you put in a devastating performance and either just dominate the entire fight or get that stoppage victory. For me, I actually think Tevin Farmer, a lot of what he said, and I feel like he's mentally trying to get into Schofield's head as well. He is the more experienced guy. He's been in there, I believe, with maybe not bigger punchers, but a lot tougher guys than Schofield. Schofield has some very, very bad deficient flaws in his game. Sometimes he overcorrects himself when he's sort of throwing into shots, and then that time leaves him wide open for that split second. If you facing a counter puncher like a Tevin Farmer, those split seconds you can't be allowing him to find a target. He may be 34, but he's still got them reflexes. Schofield does have power, and I think that will be almost like a get out of jail free card at points in this fight. But the experience of Tevin Farmer, I can't get past the experience and the ring craft and the fact that he stays active. Now, everything suggests to me Tevin Farmer should win this fight, and all being equal, he definitely should. However, again, this is MVP, but this is Golden Boy. So it's very hard for me to believe that Tevin Farmer will get a fair shake, especially after that first Zepeda fight. Second one, fair enough. First one, yeah. And even the Muay fight, touch and go on top rank. But I am actually going to go with Schofield to win. I really want to say Tevin Farmer, but I just don't think he will get a decision on the cards, and I don't expect him to knock out Schofield. So I'm going for a split decision. I think one of the judges is going to see this correctly, with him probably winning like 116, 112, 115, 113, something along those lines. But those other two judges, I am expecting you might see a 117, 111, 116, 112 type scorecard. So yeah, I'm going with Kid Austin to win, although I feel like it will be highly controversial if and when he does. Now, moving up the card, Zurdo Ramirez versus Yuniel Dorticos, the KO Doctor. Now, Zurdo has to stay close to Dorticos. He can't try to box him from range. He can't jump on the outside. He can't just try to move, even though he's probably got the better speed and boxing fundamentals. He actually has to stay on Dorticos' chest, because if you allow Dorticos to get full extension on any of those shots, that's when you're going to get badly hurt. That's when you're going to get knocked out. So yeah, Zurdo Ramirez has to stay close to the chest, has to work for every moment that he's on that chest. Then he has to also tie up and make the referee break them and get back onto the chest. He can't afford to be mid-range to outside at any point in this fight for a sustained period of time. But the inactivity of Dorticos is a problem. It is a concern. So I actually do think that that Zurdo Ramirez will win the fight. I actually think he will win via a unanimous decision, in a pretty very, I will say one-sided, but not in a derogatory sense. Like it would be competitive in many of the rounds, but ultimately very clear winner, and everyone kind of knows who won the fight. So yeah, I'm going with Zurdo Ramirez to win, unanimous decision against União Dorticos. Okay, Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I don't know. It wasn't one I was actually going to predict, so I'm going to stay that vein. I don't know which way it's going to lean. However, the only thing I can say is, generally speaking, Jake Paul opponents are picked for a reason. And yeah, I think that kind of tells me how this fight is supposed to go. But while I won't probably be watching live, and there'll be no live watch along, I will definitely check out the results afterwards to see kind of how the fight turned out. It would not surprise me if Chavez managed to roll back the years and actually gain a victory. But you know, former middleweight, upper cruiserweight at this point in time, Jake Paul doing what Jake Paul does, it's going to be an uphill battle. Even if he wins, will he really win? You know, this isn't the Tommy Fury fight, so where it's more of an even kill with a UK judging system. It'll be interesting. I mean, I'll watch it for nothing else other than that. But yeah, no official prediction from me with regards to that one, or at least not on the video, but I'll be tuned in. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and I will catch you in the next one. But until then, this is Basis Picks. Love.